Okay, I just got Dragon Ball Sparky Zero, so I need to do this quick. Oh, it's not an early Christmas present. We ordered this back in November and it just got here. Ahem. We are one. I never wanted any part of Mother's plans, Mothball explained. Totally bet they've banged. He and Screwball were sitting at Sakura's table, eating soup with one hoof and holding hose with the other. Totally banged right there next to the lake. I mean, they admitted their love, totally went at it. We just didn't get to see it on screen. Well, Screwball was the only one eating anyway, since Mothball was not accustomed to solid food. But what was I supposed to do? He continued. I was young. We were reckless. We needed to unwind. I had nowhere else to go. The hive is the only home I ever known. The Tainslings never really felt like family, but I get it, Screwball said, giving himself a gentle squeeze. No matter how crazy they are, you can't pick family. She hung her head. And sometimes you do anything to please them. Part of what my mother's told you is true, though. I was supposed to feed off your love, but I couldn't bear to hurt you. Eventually, I kept away from you altogether. It's funny. You keep saying that more time I spend with you, the weaker I get. But the thing is, she put down her spoon and scooted closer to him. When I'm with you, I feel stronger. You do feel stronger. I don't understand how that's possible. Perhaps I can explain. Hey, Sakura, do you mind being the exposition fairy? You ask if being the exposition fairy does well to make me wary. But of course not. I like explaining to you lot. Plus, if you ask me about my paycheck, well, with the price it comes, let me say, what the heck. See, folks, sometimes I have to do this freestyle. It ain't easy! Why, she feels no pain. She held up the card Temperance. I spoke to you of balancing your traits. There is more to what this card dictates. You gain power from Screwball's love, it's true, but from your love she gains power too. What you give replaces what you take. It is such a rare magic you two make. So what you're saying is, False attempted to clarify that instead of me taking away her powers, we're airing our own. Zebra nodded. It makes sense, Screwball declared. Love is the most powerful form of chaos there is. She smirked. But I thought you didn't have a heart, you big softy. So did I, the prince said, but Sakura told me something interesting. If I were heartless like my mother's, I would have left you for dead. He gazed into her eyes, but I didn't. Screwball smiled and nuzzled her head into his chest. I'm sorry, I doubted you. He grinned nervously. Well, you had reason. He slowly pulled away and looked down nervously. What else do you know about Chrysalis's plan? He sighed. The night of the galas, when I returned to the hive, Mother demanded I tell her everything I learned from you. I refused, but then he threatened to hurt you, so... He turned his head away and saying, I told her that's how she knew she could see through lies, that you had a baby brother. She replaced him before you returned to Canterlot. He's alive as far as I know. He's being held in the hive's nursery. Changelings find babies to be, he wants, a bountiful food source, because in their innocent stage, they tend to love everything and everyone. I would have rescued him, but I scarcely escaped from the hive myself. I tried to warn you about Chrysalis in the park today, but I couldn't risk revealing myself to her. Screwball's eyes were wild with worry. Why is he doing this? Chrysalis is evil. He wants revenge on your father. What for, I'm not sure, but this was also to get him back into stone. With him out of the way and his power transferred to Chrysalis, the changelings would be free to take over Equestria. He shook his head. He had it all planned out. He even got 2 changelings to kiss in front of your father, posing as your mother, and another stallion to get him angry. And Dad didn't take time to point out all the... Look, we've already been through this. It's either he was too irate to figure this out, the bleeding obvious, or the author created a giant plot hole accidentally. Plot hole. Oh, by the way, people, you might have noticed that I've been nice to Disney on this, that when compared to other authors who have done similar things, I've been a lot meaner. Well, 2 things. 1, I'm only that mean to authors who really, really deserve it. And second of all, I found she had posted a little post about all her mistakes. And when you do that, for me, I feel like I'm kicking a puppy. It's just not fun. Now, doing that to people who deserve it, that's fun. But I am honest in my reviews. As so, for example, Screwball's jaw dropped. I knew Mom would never betray us. She guessed, Mom, oh, she's probably going to ground me for life after this. She might... No, she would never let Daddy be turned to stone. But I will say this. It takes a lot of cool ingenuity to take a giant plot hole in the fic and fix it up in your audio play. My mother figured that, which is why she also planned to pose as Discord and act so evil that your mother and the other bearers, the elements of harmony, would have no choice but to turn him to stone. Once that's done, she plans to dispose of them so nothing can stop her. Oh no, what if it's already been done? What if we're too late? As he spoke, a frog crossed through a teapot haunted to the windowsill. Its lid opened as it croaked. I think your dad's alive, Mothball observed, but we might not have much time. See, Screwball exclaimed. We have to warn him. We have to save Zany. We need to explain things to... No, Sakura said. You are not fully recovered, and you could not risk being discovered. But if I wait too long, it will be too late. Your father is crafting cover and cunning. He will sense the boating's coming. It'll take time for them to hunt him down. I suggest you rest until morning comes round. But... She trailed off as Mothball laid a head on her shoulder. She's right. You need your strength if you want to go up against my mother. He hung his head. I wouldn't recommend it, though. My mother's clever, too. Not to mention Z has a whole army on her side. I don't care. My family's fallen apart, and I have to put it together again. You'll need a plan first. Yes, Scribble said aside. I'm sorry. My mind is just so jumbled right now. You should get some sleep. Yeah, Sakura, do you have a sleeping bag or something? You are welcome to sleep in my bed, the zebra offered. I will find a place to rest my head. Oh, Sakura, really? You've done so much for my family already. I don't want to... Nonsense! You both need your rest, for that bed would be best. But where can I... Mothball started to ask. Next to your girlfriend. What do I have to tell you? He trailed off as Sakura went down. He was silent as she gathered the empty teacups and disappeared behind a curtain. Mothball and Screwball simultaneously glanced at bed, at each other with a blush. Time for the banging. Hard. I suppose there's no harm in, Screwball stammered, snuggling. In a few minutes, they were lying under the covers, tight in each other's embrace, their hooves entwining. They were careful not to do anything inappropriate. Not according to Denny's jokes! But Screwball tried to get a kiss from her love. Mothball leaned his head back in hesitation. Come on, Screwball groaned. We know you won't hurt me. Yeah, but I just don't want to risk it. At least not now when you're not your strongest. She says, sighed disappointment. Fine. On that note, she turned her body away from him. I didn't mean it like that, Mothball insisted. I mean, now that we know how different I am with you, I just don't know what will happen. She faced him again. Why don't we find out? He stared into her pleading spirals. He wanted to kiss her so badly. As well as, some other days, he said. He sighed again and glanced up at the ceiling. He looked at the same horizon for a while neither of them said anything. Did you know? Screwball asked abruptly. Mothball raised an eyebrow. Did I know what? She looked eyes with him. Did you know how I felt about you? He looked away safely. I could sense emotion a while away. I've always known. Why didn't you say anything? Her tone was sounding angry now. Because I thought I couldn't return your feelings. And I didn't want you to think I was just staying with you so I could feed. Screwball could understand that, considering how she treated him earlier. Sorry, she apologized. Again, I never properly thanked you for saving my life. This made her feel ever more guilty. That's okay, Mothball still shrugged. I never thanked you. For what? For saving me from myself. He winced. Okay, that was teasy. Screwball laughed. I love you anyway. So he took his huff and snuggled against him again. He smiled and stroked her mane. Even though he had always known it, hearing her say those 3 words warmed his heart, which he supposedly had. What I mean is, I've always thought I was a heartless creature who didn't deserve love of any kind. Until I met you. Not only that, but you showed me what it's like to have fun. To be crazy. To be, well, a kid. She smiled. How long have you been in love with me? I was bewitched the moment I saw you. What I don't get is why you love me. When we first met, you were so different that I found you interesting. I knew you weren't as bad as Daddy said, because you tried to save me from the Manticore. I really can't explain it, but I feel just so complete with you. Screwball sighed contentedly as he wrapped his hose around her. I feel the same way. She was so happy that he finally had her prince. Her heart sank at the thought of her family. I have to make things right, she whispered. Mothball shook his head. It's hopeless. There's no stopping my mother. Grow some confidence in a backbone man! You now have your girl! You now have a woman! It's time for you to go in there and fight! Now, I know that it may seem tough, and I know that Chrysalis has an army, but right now, you have a woman in your arms. This makes you a man! Sorry today, you're no longer a weak little panty-waist little Disney prince. You're an anime prince with bars and a mighty sword. Now, I want to hear you say, Mothball, that you're ready to kick some changeling ass! Are you with me? Yes. That's what I want to hear. She was stopped before at Cadance and Shiny Armor's wedding. Huh? What? Vic, are you really trying to tell me that Chrysalis spent all this time prepping him up for battle, prepping him up for the day he would finally take over all of Equestria, and she decided to skip out her greatest defeat. I personally would have said it, just to tell him what not to do! If Z was defeated, I don't think Z would have. Well, basically, what happened to is Princess Cadance in Shining Armor cast a spell that bans the Changelings from Equestria. But they're all the way in the Crystal Empire now. By the time you hear about Chrysalis, it'll be too late. What kind of spell did they cast? I don't remember. My mom told me a long time ago, right after I met you. But I don't remember. I just know they cast it together, and not even Chrysalis could fight it. Wow, you really didn't pay attention to Twilight's speech, did you? That must have been some spell. If only I could remember. We'll worry about it in the morning. For now, let's get some time, some sleep. They held each other. Mothball could feel her love transfer to his body, but he could also feel his love going to her in return. He could not hurt her, but that did not make up for the fact that he was a changeling prince. He had to prove his loyalty, not just to her, but to everyone. He had to clean up the mess he caused, and he knew exactly how. When Scrubball awoke, she was alone. Her hoof went to the empty space before her. Mothball. She stepped out of bed and looked around the hut. Her eyes fell upon a note on the table. Step out for a moment. We'll be back before evening. M.B. A few minutes after, Screwball read the letter. Sakura returned with a plate of scrambled eggs. Knit me gets, the young man said. Daddy made it rain eggs. The Sakura zebra shook her head. No, my dear Screwball. In fact, they were boiling from the waterfall. Typical. They waited 2 hours for Mothball to return, until Screwball grew impatient. Where could he possibly be? She demanded, slamming her hoof on the table. Hush, my dear, Sakura said sternly. You must have patience. It's not like we've been waiting for ages. But what is he doing? Can't you look at your magic brew or something? The zebra rubbed her chin. I don't see what I can do. Hand me that jar of dust, would you? As the Screwball handed her the jar, Sakura scooped up the green powder and blew it onto the cauldron. As she said a few words, an image began to form in the brew. Screwball peered inside and saw the silhouettes of 6 mares she knew well. She gasped as she started hearing voices. His 24 hours are up, said the voice of Princess Twilight. I'm sorry it had to come to this, Fluttershy. No, cried Fluttershy's voice. Just a little more time, please. You could try to reason with him once more, but it must be done. Come on, girls, let's find Discord, yada yada yada. Let's try to get this plot point done. As the image disintegrated, Screwball felt a wave of panic. No, they're going to do it. They're going to turn Daddy to stone. The filly rushed to the door. Where are you going? Sakura demanded. I had to warn him. Or if I find Fawn first, I'll explain things to her. I had to fix this. When Mothball gets back, tell him I've gone. Zebra was about to protest further when Screwball slammed the door. Mothball hid behind a dead tree, so the changelings guarding the entrance to the hive would not see him. For a second, he considered turning back. Suppose he were caught, or worse, if his mother caught him. She would do worse than ground him. She would blast him to dust. Then he remembered Screwball and the promise he made. He had to prove he could keep that promise, and his love was sincere. The task was dangerous, but he would face 1,000 changelings for Screwball. Under the circumstances, that might exactly be what he had to do. The prince closed his eyes and took the form of a nurse changeling. I hope my smell doesn't throw them off, he muttered to himself. The guards did not appear to be suspicious, which was a great relief to Mothball. But the most difficult part of the task was yet to come. He took the passage to the lower level of the hive where the nursery was. He immediately caught sight of the grave foal living in a cocoon-shaped-like cradle. Despite the number of changelings surrounding him, the infant was laughing, clapping his toes. Changelings in the meantime were feeding off his unconditional love. Now what? The prince had to think of a way to get the child out there without arousing suspicion. He cleared his throat. Hems. The changelings turned to him. Her Majesty, he stammered, would like the child to be brought to Ponyville. He wishes to show him off to Discord. The group murmured amongst themselves in confusion. Why would Z do that? One said, well, Z is disguised as a child at the moment. Mothball bit his lip. Oh, well, Z wants to... They grunted, oh, the heck with it. Zzz. His horn glowed, painfully scared as he blasted open the cocoon. The baby applied, as if wanting to do it again. Mothball slipped the baby in his hose and felt its love transfer to him. He's actually kind of cute, he thought with a smile. Stay where you are! The prince looked up and saw that he was surrounded by soldier changelings. Sadly, I didn't have time to find a good place to sing We Are One. Love that song.